8 wins in a row. The best start since 2019. The Pats get the job done on Thursday Night Football. We're live. It's past midnight, and this is Locked On Patriots.
You are Locked On Patriots, your daily New England Patriots podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's happening? I am your host, Nick Cattles, born and raised in New England. I've been covering the Pats for the past 16 years. I'm also the co-host of the Greg Bedard Patriots podcast with Nick Cattles and a sports radio veteran. Before we get started, welcome to Locked On Patriots, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, now the #1 sports podcast network. That's right, the #1 sports podcast network, your team every day. Can you believe this? Now, I know it was the Jets. I understand it was the Jets. I understand the Patriots were 13-point favorites. How about that? The number right on the nose. I know they were 13-point favorites. I know pretty much all of us thought the Patriots would walk away with a win in this football game. But still, can you believe it? I predicted that the Patriots would win 9 games this season. They've won 9 games in the first 11 weeks. You want to talk about exceeding expectations. That's what this football team continues to do. Exceed expectations. And coming up, we'll tell you why it feels like the Pats defense is trolling us at this point. Also, patience has paid off for the Pats offense as their new toy went off again tonight. But first, this team's mentality continues to stand out to me. And today's episode is brought to you by Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. I can't thank all of you enough watching this live. It's past midnight Eastern time. Can't say enough to all of you watching it live, but also thanks to anyone who is watching this on demand or listening to this on Friday morning. They just keep winning. They just keep winning. They just keep finding ways to win. Short week. Coming off the road from Tampa, you get in late on Sunday night. Quick turnaround, right? You come in late Sunday night. You have to get ready for the football game coming up in just a couple of days. You've got to get your treatment. You've got to get the game plan. You've got to get right to work. A short week after a road game. And then you walk into Thursday night. And again, I know it's the Jets, but this is a divisional game. Divisional games are usually tough. This is the 11th straight football game the Patriots have played. They haven't had a bye. They won't have a bye until week 14. They've played now 11 straight games. Think about the physical toll, the mental toll. And then you've got a short week. You got to show up on Thursday night and try to win a physical football game. You're missing 4 key players: Austin Hooper, Ramondre Stevenson, Kayshon Boutte, Christian Ellis. And then on top of that, you lose Milton Williams early in this game. He came back for a series or so, but he was out for the vast majority of this game. Milton Williams has been by far your best defensive player this entire season. He has been by far your best defensive player over the past 4 or 5 weeks. It hasn't even been close. Milton Williams has been individually responsible for 6 or 7 impact plays every single week, and you lose him early in this game. But you just keep fighting. You just keep showing everybody how mentally tough you are. Adversity has not been a big deal to this team. And I think it starts at the top with Mike Vrabel. Remember when Mike Vrabel was introduced as the Patriots head coach? What did he say? Vrabel said a lot at that press conference, but one of the things that he said that stood out and everybody talked about was you've got to get to the point where you can take advantage of bad football. And that's what the Patriots did tonight. You don't have to be a perfect team if you take advantage of bad football. And the New York Jets gave you enough bad football that you could take advantage and walk away with a 13-point win. The Jets had a couple of crucial penalties. They had a couple of busted coverages. They had, of course, the bad snap, the turnover that hurt my prediction for tonight's game. I had it 23-13. It would have been 24-14 if not for that bad snap. But hey, couldn't care less. Patriots have now won 8 in a row. But they took advantage of bad football. Mike Vrabel has accomplished what he wanted to accomplish. And of course, this team can accomplish a lot more. But 11 games in at 9-2, first place in the AFC East, the best record in the NFL right now. He has accomplished what he wanted to accomplish. He has gotten to the point with this team that they can take advantage of bad football and they make you pay. Meanwhile, the Patriots, only 2 penalties tonight. 2 penalties for 20 yards. Remember at the beginning of the year where the Patriots were getting 7 penalties, 9 penalties, 10 penalties? And we talked about, they're winning games. They're still finding ways to win, but their discipline isn't great. They've got to get disciplined. They can't be, getting flagged 7, 8 times because that's going to come back and haunt them. Tonight, again, on a short week, going out there, and that means a lot because on a short week, when you're physically and mentally drained, that's kind of when you get lazy. That's when you get sloppy. And you would expect, that's why Thursday Night Football is usually a very sloppy game because teams are just mentally and physically fatigued. And they start grabbing guys. They start making mistakes. They start playing outside of their own brains and bodies. But tonight, on a short week, the Patriots were focused. It wasn't the prettiest game in the world, but that doesn't matter. 2 penalties for 20 yards. That's a really good job on a short week. They were disciplined against the trick play, right? The little wide receiver end around into the pass to the quarterback. All over it. K'Lavon Chaisson, fantastic discipline. How about the screen pass against Breece Hall? We talked about it during the crossover and how Breece Hall took a screen pass against Cleveland, 42 yards to the house for a touchdown. They try to throw the screen tonight. Jack Gibbons, who was really good against the screen game in Tampa, Jack Gibbons makes a fantastic play against Breece Hall for a 2-yard loss. Two flags for 20 yards. Discipline against the trick play, discipline against the screen game. And we talked about the special teams, and you don't want to give the Jets any extra yards. You don't want to give them free yards. You don't want to give them any kind of free points, so to speak. Mike Vrabel talked about it on Monday with the media. He said, this special teams of the Jets is incredible. And he wasn't just blowing smoke. DVOA coming into week 11, DVOA has the Jets as the best special teams in the entire league. The Patriots disciplined on special teams. Their coverage tonight was fantastic, capped off by Brendan Schooler and Charles Woods late in this game. Getting a punt return down at the 15 with a nice tackle. I mean, we are sitting here on November 14th, 12:12 a.m. Eastern Time, live on YouTube, Locked On Patriots. We are sitting here talking about a team that has now won 8 straight games and is 9-2. What a time to be alive. What a time to be alive. Just incredible. Absolutely incredible by Mike Vrabel and company. We've got a lot more to talk about with this football game tonight. Drake Maye. Drake Maye continues to march towards the MVP, but tonight, Drake Maye got some help. We'll have that and more next. This is Locked On Patriots, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. This episode is brought to you by PrizePicks. You and I make decisions every day, but on PrizePicks, being right can get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement of this sports season. Whether you're following the NFL, NBA, or both, there's no better time to jump in on the action. If you haven't tried it yet, PrizePicks is the simplest way to play. Just pick more or less on at least 2 player stats, and if you get them right, you win. It takes less than 60 seconds to make your lineup, and you can play anywhere PrizePicks operates, including California, Texas, and Georgia. You can use PrizePicks during both football Sundays and NBA tip-offs. It keeps every single game exciting, and the new Stacks feature is a game changer. You can now pick more on Jalen's points, threes, and assists in the same lineup. Download the PrizePicks app today. Use code LOCKEDONNFL to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONNFL for $50 in lineups after your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks. It's good to be right. Thank you for making Locked On Patriots your first listen of the day. And literally, it is your first listen of the day if you're watching live, listening live, because it's midnight. Appreciate all of you. Thank you for making Locked On the #1 sports podcast network, your team every day. And don't forget to help a brother out, help a podcast out. Click that thumbs up as you watch us on YouTube. Helps us with the algorithm. Don't forget to throw a comment in as well. The Geist Life jumps in and says, I was at the game, stuck in the parking lot, trying to get back to my hotel. LOL. Well, at least you're stuck after a win, right? Would be miserable if they lost and you were stuck in the parking lot. I'm sure the parking lot had some good vibes tonight before the game. I'm hopeful they have some good vibes after the game. Thanks to all of you. Don't forget to like, comment, and of course, subscribe. We are almost to 7,500 subscribers. I keep saying this. I have belief in Patriots fans. We can make Locked On Patriots one of the best Locked On shows on the entire network if we keep pushing forward. I appreciate every single one of you. I appreciate Drake Maye. I love Drake Maye. I'm sure you appreciate and love Drake Maye as well. I was thinking tonight watching this game as Drake Maye is just kind of calmly slicing and dicing the defense. Can you imagine how Drake Maye felt tonight walking into this game, looking at that Jets defense, looking at that Jets secondary after facing Cleveland, Atlanta, and Tampa? All three of those teams, top 15 in DVOA defense, some good defenses, tons of pressure, top-notch players like Myles Garrett. Drake Maye must have taken a huge deep breath and released it out and exhaled and said, oh, I can do this. Oh, I can do this. I thought Drake Maye was great tonight. 25 of 34, 281 yards. He didn't throw for 350 and 4 touchdowns, but I thought he was great. 0 turnovers again, which is nice to see. He did have that one throw that was deep into double coverage that was a little bit dicey, but that football came out of his hand differently. It just looked weird. And when Amazon Prime showed the replay of that deep throw to Kyle Williams, it was a little bit of a duck. It just looked like it left his hand differently. I don't know what happened with that throw. There was a little bit too much air underneath it. He had Kyle Williams. But I mean, he was mostly tremendous tonight. Passer rating of over 100 again, 107.6. And it's every single week. It's every single week that he's just giving you elite plays. Second quarter, Patriots drive, because the first Jets drive took, it felt like 45 minutes. 3rd and 7, shotgun formation, hits Hunter Henry on a crossing route, 10 yards, move the chains. 2nd and 12, shotgun formation, empty set. That's the play where Drake Maye extends, finds Mac Hollins in the middle of the football field. No big deal on a 2nd and 12. Third quarter, Patriots offense, their second drive of the second half, 2nd and 8 under center, play action, extends the play, finds Stefon Diggs for a chunk play of 22 yards. 1st and 10, shotgun, play action, extends, finds Diggs for, 16, 17 yards. He's sitting there playing around with the sideline, improvisational skills through the roof. Kirk Herbstreit, Al Michaels, comparing Drake Maye to, Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen. I mean, come on now. Does it get any better? 3rd and 10, shotgun, third quarter, third drive in the second half for the Patriots. Drake Maye gets blitzed, finds Pop Douglas, crossing route against Jarvis Brownlee for 26 yards. Like 3rd and 7, 3rd and 10, 2nd and 12, it doesn't matter. He just keeps making plays. Now, real-time watching, I thought Drake Maye was mostly great in the pocket tonight. Showed poise, showed really good subtle movement inside the pocket, north, south, east, west, and didn't look rattled, did not look rattled, kept his eyes down the field. I mean, there's only so many things that you can say about this young man. I'm running out of adjectives. I'm running out of superlatives. I'm running out of bouquets to throw at his feet. He just continues to play great football. I don't want to say he's, Brady-esque, but my guy, Jeremy Underhill, says, do we have a count on how many beers were thrown at the Brady statue? Yes. How about Adrian, still awake at 6 in the morning in Austria? Shout out to Austria, going to work now, energized by the win. Get through work. Get through work, my man. So Great job by Drake Maye yet again. Let's get to TreVeyon Henderson, though. You don't win these last 2 games if it wasn't for TreVeyon Henderson. TreVeyon Henderson has helped you win the last 2. And what you're seeing is a rookie who's finding his legs. He's finding his sea legs. I talked about it through the first 7-8 weeks. You could always tell when the game is going a little too fast for a rookie running back, right? Because they tend to kind of run up the backs of their offensive linemen. They're just trying to just go straight ahead. They're not showing any patience. They're kind of scattered a little bit, and they're not allowing their blocks to get set up, and they just want to get the football and run like they're like shot out of a cannon. And you saw that from TreVeyon Henderson a decent amount through the first 7 or 8 weeks. There was that impatience that happens to a lot of rookies. And I try to say and pound home the point of be patient with TreVeyon Henderson. He's a really talented guy. He's a rookie. This stuff happens. You got to give him time to figure out the speed of the game. And it really feels like, going back 2 or 3 weeks ago, it really started before the Tampa game. The patience is now there, right? And you saw it tonight. The patience. The fact that he's not trying to outrun his offensive line. He's showing the patience. He's showing the explosiveness. He caught a couple of checkdowns tonight. Great job by Drake Maye to utilize the checkdown, which he hasn't always done consistently this year. He did that tonight. Fantastic job. Take the profit, get the yards where you can get them. Using TreVeyon Henderson as a receiver out of the backfield. And, of course, the touchdown catch. Gets both feet in, backpedaling, 3 touchdowns. TreVeyon Henderson now has 5 touchdowns in his last 2 games. He is figuring it out. You could even say he has figured it out. And when all the talk was being had about camp and how, man, this guy is exploding and he's exciting. And then real football happens, right? And then you've got a defense out there, and then the speed picks up. But now you're starting to see it. It's slowing down. He's starting to look like the guy that we saw in camp and during the preseason because he's catching up to everybody else now. And the hope is that eventually he just surpasses most dudes on that field. But this is a rookie that is figuring it out if he hasn't figured it out already. So TreVeyon Henderson is now an explosive element in this offense. And thankfully, I started him in my flex and fantasy football. I didn't start him last weekend. Started him this weekend. And then, so you go from TreVeyon Henderson, right? This is what's fun about this team. Drake Maye, second-year quarterback. TreVeyon Henderson, your rookie running back. And then you go to your 30-plus-year-old wide receiver in Stefon Diggs. And I know that he dropped 2 passes tonight. Very uncharacteristic of Stefon Diggs. We know he has fantastic hands. But he was still really freaking good. He was still really good in this game. Coming up with chunk plays, coming up with big moments, 9 catches, 105 yards. It is his 3rd 100-yard receiving game this year. He had one against the Panthers. He obviously had one against the Bills, and he had one tonight. Stefon Diggs has been really good this year, especially considering the expectations we had of him coming off of an ACL injury and surgery. So Diggs, 9 for 105. In real time, I thought the offensive line did a good job. I'll rewatch the game tomorrow morning, and I'll check out the all 22 as soon as it comes out, and we'll get a better feel for how the guys played. But in real time, it felt like the offensive line did a good job, especially keeping Will Campbell. I know he had help. They showed that graphic during the first half or early second half where I think it was like 14 one-on-ones, and Will McDonald did not have a single pressure. Now, Will Campbell was helped on 4 of those with a chip, which is to be expected. But Will McDonald did not take this game over. I talked about it on the crossover. Against Cleveland, Will McDonald had like 9 or 10 impact plays. The dude was a monster. And I thought they did a good job against Will McDonald tonight. You did not hear his name a ton. You did not hear the name of Jermaine Johnson a ton. He did get that sack later on in the game. But I thought, for the most part, the offensive line kept the pass rushers, Will McDonald and Jermaine Johnson, they kept them pretty much in check. And, one more thing that I talked about during the crossover was I wanted to see this offense attack Jarvis Brownlee, and they did, man. They attacked that dude. He was miserable last week against Cleveland. He wasn't much better tonight. What'd they do? 3rd and 10. 3rd and 10. Second half. They looked at Jarvis Brownlee. Steak dinner, right? Barbecue chicken alert. Pop Douglas against Jarvis Brownlee. Barbecue chicken alert. That's what that was. Just attack him, and they did it. They did it. They took advantage of him. They took advantage of the secondary. And one of the coolest things, and I tweeted this, you can follow me at Nick C Radio. One of the coolest things about this game was that they ended the game with the football. The Jets had 3 timeouts. This is a Mike Vrabel moment. He highlighted it in the postgame, and I knew he was going to. I tweeted it just as soon as it happened. 3rd and 3. You want to end the game with the football in your hands. The Jets know you're running. And TreVeyon Henderson, with help of the offensive line, pushes it through for about 5 yards, end the game. That is a tone-setting finish. Remember, Mike Vrabel preaching effort and finish as soon as he took the job. And that's what you got. All right, the defense once again follows the script. My goodness. Are they trolling us at this point? We'll talk about it next. This is a Locked On Patriots, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. NFL season is back, my friends, and honestly, there's nothing better than being in the stadium surrounded by fans cheering on your team. But let's be honest, getting tickets can be a hassle between queues and login screens and prices jumping at checkout. It's frustrating. That's why you should use Gametime, the app that gives the advantage back to fans. Gametime is fast, easy, and backed by the Gametime guarantee. You'll always get 100% authentic tickets delivered on time and at the best price. Plus, all fees are included, so the price that you see is the price that you pay. You pull up Gametime, just a couple of taps, tap, tap. You see amazing deals. I'm talking about your favorite NFL games as low as $100. And, honestly, it's faster, cheaper, and less stressful than any other way you can buy tickets. Download the Gametime app, create an account, use code LOCKDOWNNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, that's promo code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Download Gametime today. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Help us out, inching towards 12:30 in the morning, Eastern time. Love y'all. Appreciate y'all. 8 straight wins for this football team. 9-2 atop the AFC East, atop the NFL. Best record in the NFL. But let's talk about the defense. Timothy McGuire. Sickening opening drive again. We play defense like an AI that needs to be trained on a team first to function. That is a fantastic line by Timothy. Appreciate the comment, my man. Another opening drive touchdown. This is now 8 out of 11 games. I mean, we're overall ecstatic about this team. But as I said a number of times, let's just post the 6 points. I mean, the New York Jets have one of the worst offenses in football, and they walk in and they convert 4 straight third downs and eventually score a touchdown on the opening drive. It looked like the Patriots weren't necessarily ready for the read option, which seemed pretty amazing to me, given that it's Justin Fields at quarterback. But 8 games out of 11, the opposing team starts the game off with a touchdown. I mean, that is almost impossible to believe. But again, here we are. Broken freaking record. You give up the opening drive. You give up the touchdown. You throw your hands up. You're frustrated going, again, that Mike Vrabel, how detailed this coaching staff is. Vrabel was talking about it in the postgame about how, they had all the treatment laid out for these guys like last week, knowing exactly when guys were coming in on Monday so they can get their treatment to efficiently handle the short week. That the head coach who had Drake Maye act like a flopping fish on 1st and goal in Tampa to soak some clock, that Mike Vrabel is on this, right? This coaching staff is on this. It's obvious. It's obvious to everybody watching that this defense is terrible out of the chute. And somehow, some way, it just keeps happening. But somehow, some way, again, I think they're trolling us at this point because it's the first drive of the game. They stink. They give up a touchdown. And then the rest of the game, they're solid, if not really good. It happens every single week. Every single week. It doesn't even really matter who they're playing. But let's talk about some of the good the defense did, because I do think they did plenty of good tonight. Let's start with how they handled Breece Hall. Breece Hall was the number one enemy. If you're, in the locker room with Mike Vrabel and you're getting ready for this game, I can guarantee you the first name at the tippity top of the list was Breece Hall. We can't let Breece Hall get going. He was tied for third in the NFL for the most explosive run plays this season. He's a house call waiting to happen. He does a great job of getting by the initial tackler. He makes life miserable when he gets to the second level. And the Patriots bottled him up tonight. They bottled him up. 14 carries for 58 yards. Yes, that's 4.1 yards per carry. But the longest run of the night that he had was 11 yards. And I believe that was his only run that was for 10 or more. So again, they did a really good job of swarming and wrapping him up and not letting him get past that initial tackler and not letting, a 5-yard gain, a 4-yard gain turn into a 15-yard gain, a 20-yard gain. If you keep Breece Hall at 58 yards, you did your job. I know we talked about it through the first, 9 weeks of the season about how the Patriots hadn't given up a 50-yard rusher yet. You give up 58 to Breece Hall, you will take that every single time. I'm sure Mike Vrabel is thrilled that Breece Hall had only 58 yards rushing. He also only had 2 catches for 6 yards. I mentioned the Jack Gibbons screen earlier in this live stream. That they kept him. They kept him at bay. They didn't let him, hurt them in the passing game. They did not let him get explosive runs. Fantastic job on Breece Hall. Priority number 1 was limiting, if not shutting down Breece Hall, and you did that tonight, so mission accomplished. I also want to point out that this defense, they survived without Milton Williams. Milton Williams hurt his ankle early in this game. He went to the tent. He then went to the locker room. He then came back out. He did get on the field at one point, but he sat for the vast majority of this game, and Mike Vrabel was asked about it by Greg Bedard in the postgame, and it sounded like, Mike Vrabel was taking care of Milton Williams, frankly. It sounded like Milton Williams might have had a shot to go out there. He wouldn't have been completely healthy, but Mike Vrabel, I think, made the smart call. You're playing the Jets. You have a lead. You don't really feel the urgency to throw your best defensive player out there. You don't want him to get injured more. You've got the 10 days off now. You've got the mini bye. So let the big guy rest up. You didn't need him tonight, thankfully, but you survive without Milton Williams. And that mini bye is now crucial because you get your 10 days, right? Vrabel said after the game that the guys will be out of the facility. They won't come back until Monday. So they've got a nice 3-day weekend to chill out, have a couple drinks, have something to eat, rest up, ice up, son, ice up. And then they'll be back on Monday. So Milton Williams, I'm sure, will be getting plenty of treatment over the next 10 days. If you're going to get dinged up like Milton Williams got dinged up, tonight is a good night because you've got that extra rest built in. Again, the defense did not get much pressure at all. Late in the game, Christian Barmore, all of a sudden, who had been quiet for, I'd say, the last 2 games and almost, 2 games and 3 quarters. And then Christian Barmore had 3 snaps in a row. He got the sack. Then he got a pressure. And then he got another pressure. Somehow Justin Fields got away the 3rd time. But Christian Barmore really flourished late in this game with 3 big impact plays. 2 of them, the Jets survived somehow, some way. But it was nice to see Barmore get in there. But there wasn't a ton of pressure again. Wasn't a ton of pressure. And you also can thank the Jets a little bit, right? Again, take advantage of bad football. A.D. Mitchell had a drop. Justin Fields had Mitchell wide open on a 3rd down on a rub route, and he just misfired, and Mitchell had to try to contort his body to catch it. I thought Justin Fields was inaccurate a decent amount tonight, which is not a surprise, kind of his calling card. You had a number of bad snaps, including the one that cost them the turnover. So, bad snaps, bad penalties. But hey, take advantage of the bad football on a short week. You were the more disciplined team. You were the better team. And now you are 9-2, an 8-game win streak. And as Robert Hart points out, on to Cincinnati, no Joe Burrow. Indeed, 10 days off. Man, what a time to be alive. A 9-2 Patriots team. I predicted 9-8 on the season, and here we are, 9 wins already. Not too shabby. That wraps up this edition of Locked On Patriots. Don't forget to hit that like button. Don't forget to throw a comment in. Don't forget to subscribe. Thank you for making us your first listen and for being an everydayer. Reach out to me on Twitter at Nick C Radio. And for your second listen, get a double dose of the Locked On NFL podcast with Tyler the Madman Rowland and Tony Wiggins. Find Locked On NFL on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. Have an awesome weekend. Enjoy the football. It should be a great NFL Sunday. A number of awesome games. So enjoy that. And we will see you on Monday. Be well. Appreciate you.